Today we will be presenting Toby Eccles' TED Talk, Invest in Social Change, created by Delara, Melissa, and Trevor. The genre is a public lecture. Most TED Talks are classified as a public lecture. It is a presentation to an audience created to engage them in an idea to either change their views or make them agree with the topic featured. TED Talks, which stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design, is a nonprofit created to spread ideas in the form of short yet powerful presentations. Exigency is what drove the author to speak about a certain issue. Eccles' exigency is the failing of systems in our society, such as the prison system. Toby Eccles' purpose for presenting his public lecture was to propose a solution for a recurring societal issue. In this case, he wanted us to support his idea of the social impact bond. The social impact bond is Eccles' idea and concept where private investors can invest capital by funding rehabilitation and employment programs to improve outcomes for reoffending criminals with the goal of reducing government spending in the long term. A précis is a summary of a text or abstract which includes the author, date, and title of work, thesis, statement, claims, and purpose, as well as the intended audience.
GSCEs, which stand for General Certificate of Secondary Education, are the main qualifications taken by 14 to 16-year-olds in schools and colleges in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. These are highly valued by schools, colleges, and employers. They are the first step towards a range of careers and further study and have been used as a benchmark to judge a student's ability. In Toby Eccles' public lecture, he argues that by simply investing capital in the social impact bond, the Ministry of Justice will be adequately funded to implement a program for reoffending criminals, which will greatly reduce the amount of prison sentences. With this implementation, the government can save money and put less taxes on the public. The Ministry of Justice is a ministerial department of the UK government that works to protect the public and reduce reoffending and to provide a more effective, transparent, and responsive criminal justice system for the victims and the public. After you've identified the author's argument, you now need to identify his claims. The author's claims are his reasons why we should support his argument. After you've identified the claims, you now identify the evidence. The evidence is how the author backs up his claims, and the evidence can be research, statistics, or even personal experience. Eccles' first claim is that the social impact bond generates innovation, which enables the testing of new ideas in a way that is less difficult for everybody. Innovation is essential for change because we are able to progress and keep perfecting the system.
Because innovation is so important, Eccles has set up a program with the Essex County Council to test out intensive therapeutic support for families with adolescents that are struggling to succeed with education. On top of this, Social Finance is currently operating a total of 13 trials in areas around homelessness in London, youth employment, and education.
The bond also creates rigor, which means the quality of being extremely thorough, exhaustive, or accurate, which is needed to create a system that will benefit all. It also creates rigor because by working outcomes, people really have to test and bring data into the situation that one is dealing with.
Eccles uses Peterborough for an example, noting that they added case management, which is a collaborative process that can be highly intensive. Because Social Finance is strongly pushing for the data they need and the outcomes of the prisoners, Eccles can adapt accordingly to his results.
Eccles' third claim is that the social impact bond also generates flexibility, which is needed in order to adapt and make changes necessary for the movement to benefit everyone equally.
Again with Peterborough, Eccles describes how they first started off with the program and then collected data. Over time, they changed that program to add a range of elements so that the service adapts to meet the needs for long-term benefits and not just the short-term.
And number 4, the social bond enables partnership, which is essential because to create social change, we need to bring in the expertise from all parties and come to a consent in order to make the change work and eventually benefit everyone.
Eccles notes the ongoing debate between the state, public sector, private sector, and social sector of government over who is going to work alongside social finance. He then promotes the idea of each sector combining their own knowledge and working together to provide the necessary resources. This, he says, creates the successful structure in which he needs to have an effective and properly functioning social impact bond.
Context is the circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea. There is historical, authorial, societal, and political context.
Toby Eccles is a social investment visionary and director at Social Finance in London. Ministry of Justice statistics. In 2011 and 2012, more than 47,000 criminals aging between 16 and 21 committed a new crime within a year of being released from prison.
Our social theory is that we need to invest money in order to create social change, and we also need to be willing to try out new systems.
Free created using Powtoon.